You're going to be glad you did. Dr. Rivera here with us. Dr. Rivera, one thing that you had mentioned to me that I think is extremely important, we were talking about medications, some of the adverse problems with them, but you were telling me about how some of the brain chemistries get affected by even over-the-counter drugs. Can you address that?
You know, Mike, that is one of the basic things that I do, is to get people to stop taking bad drugs. My wife and I went to Publix the other day, and I just showed her. I stood in front of the pharmacy aisle there, and I told her, you know, if people take Pepsid, this can be really terrible for their cognition. Zantac, Tagamet, Tylenol PM, Benadryl. These are all things that should be avoided at all cost. NyQuil, anything that has diphenhydramine in it, which is the chemical name for Benadryl, should be avoided. Pretty much all of the H2 blockers, Pepsid, Zantac, Tagamet, all those should be avoided as well.
Everybody's got acid indigestion is out of luck with that stuff.
And what happens?
Now you're saying, is that affecting the other things that they're taking?
Well, no. What it does is that one of the most important neurochemicals for cognition is called acetylcholine. And when you give somebody Aricept to improve their cognition, you are making more acetylcholine available in the brain. When you take any of these medications are called anticholinergics. So they directly antagonize that neurochemical. So on one end, you're trying to help them by giving them Aricept, but then they're not sleeping at night. You're giving them Tylenol PM. You're making them much worse. And these medications can induce confusion, hallucinations, agitation, depression, delirium, I mean, you name it. There's even a study, Mike, that said that found that if you gave a group of people over 65 that were cognitively intact and you put them on an anticholinergic, in a matter of weeks they develop a syndrome indistinguishable from mild cognitive disorder, which is considered to be by some a precursor to Alzheimer's disease. So these are really bad drugs to take if you are a senior citizen, or if you already have any degree of cognitive problems. You should avoid them, all of them.
We had another Dr. Lucino who was on the show who also talked about how the amounts that people are taking, because they're seniors, that these drugs were never really tested to, as far as their half-lives and things like that, as far as how much they should be taking, the fact that they're stay in the body longer.
And their effect is cumulative, because, for example, what happens to seniors? Many of them get incontinent. So they go to the doctor, and the doctor prescribes either Detrol or Ditropan, significantly anticholinergic drugs. So if you're taking Pepsid, for your stomach, and then you're taking Detrol because you're incontinent, you have a big, what we call anticholinergic burden. Then the doctor starts you on Lasix because you need to take a water pill. That's yet another one. So this is an additive effect.
We've only got a few minutes left. I want to get back to the mind-body concept. How are you helping people in the facilities now, or what is your thought process of how you're going to help some folks?
We ran into a study that says that if you meditate for 12 minutes a day, your cognition gets significantly improved. We also know that being relaxed improves immunity, it improves well-being. So I have started at one of my facilities. My wife is teaching yoga there, and she's teaching from the very significantly impaired to the ones that are not so impaired, and we practice it in our own lives. And
tell me that story, because that was amazing. You said it's helped you with your back.
You bet. I am a recipient of 3 back surgeries, and this idea that the mind and the body are connected, and the practice of yoga is what has truly nursed me back to health.
Wow.
Definitely.
So what are some of the other therapies?
And about this mind-body connection and the way that we live our lives, there is a study where they noted that people who live their life conscientiously, meaning with a sense of duty and with a sense of service towards other people, they tend to develop dementia at a much lower rate than their age-matched controls. So the people from the study said, wait a minute, let's look at their brains when they die, because their brains must be preserved in some way. And they actually went and they studied the brains, and they saw that the brains looked the same as the people who had dementia, which means that living your life in that attitude of service to other people, of living your life with consciousness, is protective.
It's probably why seniors have such a need for volunteering and staying active.
You bet. Yeah. And that's what I told my mom and my dad. I said, you want to preserve your cognition, volunteer.
We're out of time. I wish we had more. I'm going to have it back on the show. Thanks for coming. It's been great. Happy holidays, everybody. Hope it's been helpful.